sound of people who don't want you to hear this. They say these airwaves belong to the government, to the corporations, to the ones who tell you what's safe, what's legal, and what's allowed. Well, that's a load of bullshit. Welcome to the Gadget Rum Club Midnight Transmission, broadcasting live from... Well, let's not get into that. You tuned in, so now you're one of us. The creatures of the night. The tech freaks, the booze hounds, the ones who know that the real fun starts when the laws stop making sense. Tonight we've got some, let's call them, borrowed gadgets. The kind that aren't exactly strict legal, but definitely get the job done. We got contraband booze. The kind of stuff that makes you forget your real name. And of course, you. Your calls, your stories, and your confessions. You ever hear a voice in your head that says, "This is a terrible idea, don't do it"? Well, I don't. That voice packed up and left a long time ago. So now it's just me, a microphone, a bottle of something I can't pronounce, and a broadcast nobody asked for. Somewhere out there, a security guard just realized his keycard is missing. A warehouse is getting emptied by people with ski masks who have very detailed exit strategies. And someone just looked at a camera feed, saw nothing but static, and is wondering if they should be worried. If you're listening to this show, odds are you already know how all of those things happen. They say knowledge is power. Well, tonight we're handing out some real power. You want to talk about the best way to disappear for a while? How to make your money go places your bank doesn't know? You got a tip on a gadget that lets you see in the dark or listen through walls? You got a wild story about a job that went south, a deal that went sideways, or a night you can't explain? Here's the deal. You tell me your secrets, I tell you mine. You break the rules, and we break them harder. No cops, no snitches, no boring conversations. They say a little knowledge is dangerous. I say they're thinking too small. We're about to prove that a lot of knowledge is catastrophic. Welcome to the Gadget Rum Club. If you're here, you already made a mistake, so you might as well enjoy it. Alright. Now that we've weeded out the weak, let's talk technology. The kind you won't find on store shelves. The kind that confiscated airports. The kind that, if you're holding it when the cops show up, you better have a damn good story. Tonight we're looking at something special. Something that fell off a truck and landed right in my lap. It's sleek, it's silent, and it makes security systems about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. Let's say you're in a place you're not supposed to be. Maybe a penthouse, maybe a bank vault, maybe just some rich prick's office who had it coming. What's standing between you and everything you want? A keypad, a fingerprint scanner, a reinforced door with a lock so fancy it has its own bodyguards. But here's the thing. Locks don't stop people. Locks stop honest people. And if you're listening to this, I'm guessing that's not your problem. This little number calls itself a universal bypass tool. Looks like a cheap flash drive, but you plug it into the right place and suddenly doors just forget they were supposed to stay locked. Keypads start thinking every code is the right one. Security systems blink like they just woke up from a coma. And the best part? No alarms, no noise, just an open path and a world of opportunity. Now before you get too excited, let's be clear. This thing ain't legal. Hell, it probably isn't even ethical. But neither is charging 10 grand a night for a hotel suite, and yet, here we are. But I don't do sales pitches, my friends, I deal in truth. And the truth is, technology is just a tool. It doesn't make you smarter, it doesn't make you richer, and it sure as hell doesn't make you untouchable. That's up to you. So if you had a gadget like this, what would you do with it? Call in, let's hear it. Alright, let's switch gears. Tech is great, but sometimes you just need a drink strong enough to make you forget your own Wi-Fi password. Welcome to the Rum Runners, where we don't just talk about booze, we talk about the kind of booze that comes with a warning label, if it even comes with a label at all. Tonight's contraband, something special. A bottle of Dead Man's Reserve. No barcode, no distributor, no safety standards. Just a wax-sealed bottle that looks like it was smuggled out of a war zone. You ever open a bottle and immediately regret it? That's what we're dealing with tonight. The kind of drink that makes you ask yourself, how bad do I really need my liver? Now I can tell you where this came from. Let's just say the guy who gave it to me was in a hurry, didn't want his face on camera, and may or may not have been carrying a duffel bag full of unmarked cash. That's how you know it's the real deal. First sip? Yeah, that's fire. Burns like bad decisions and tastes like it was aged in a barrel that used to be a getaway car. Second sip? Okay, now we're in business. It's got that been sitting in a smuggler's hideout for a decade kind of smoothness. Third sip? This might be a mistake. Fourth sip? Who fucking cares? Now you might be thinking, should I be drinking something that's technically evidence? Probably not, but let's be real. The best drinks are the ones that come with a little bit of danger. The kind of bottle that makes you check if your life insurance is up to date before you pop the cork. So here's the real question. What's the strongest, sketchiest, most questionable drink you've ever had? Call in. Tell me your stories. You ever sip something that made you see your ancestors? You ever drink something that made you just wake up in a completely different zip code? You ever try a homemade brew and immediately regret trusting the guy who made it? Call me. Alright, you had your drink. Maybe too many. Now let's talk about something a little bit more practical. The kind of gear that turns a locked door into a wild inconvenience. Welcome to Heist Tech, where we break down the tools of the trade for those of you who prefer to exit through the back door, preferably with something valuable. Tonight we're looking at something special. It's sleek, it's silent, and if you know how to use it, you'll never have to force a door open again. The official name? No idea. The guy who handed it to me called it the Skeleton Whisperer, which is either a badass name for a gadget or a terrible name for a band. This thing's small, fits in the palm of your hand, doesn't look like much, but you stick it into a keyhole and suddenly the lock doesn't care anymore. Deadbolts? No problem. Office doors? Easy. A high-end penthouse with 3 layers of security? Well, let's just say some doors open easier with it if they were never locked in the first place. Now I know what some of you were thinking. That's gotta be illegal. Yeah, so is tax fraud. I don't see the government losing any sleep over that. The real question isn't if this works. The question is, if you had one of these, what would you do with it? Would you use it for the greater good? Would you break into your boss's office just to turn their monitor upside down? Would you hunt yourself into a casino vault and see how much of their money they really notice is missing? You ever borrow a piece of tech that wasn't exactly yours? You ever find yourself in a place that you technically weren't supposed to be? Call in. Let's hear it. No names, no details, just a story. I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours. Alright, we've covered tech. We've covered booze. We've even talked about the kind of gear that gets you into places you probably shouldn't be in. Now let's talk about something bigger. Something lurking just beneath the surface. Something they don't want you to know. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner, where we separate fact from fiction, or at least make both equally terrifying. Now I know what you're thinking. Conspiracies? That's just for guys who wear tinfoil hats and yell at pigeons. Maybe, but let me ask you this. Why does every phone, every smart TV, every damn toaster suddenly need an internet connection? What exactly do you think they're listening for? You ever notice how you can just think about something? Maybe a product, maybe a vacation, and suddenly your phone starts showing you ads for it. You ever wonder how that happens? Maybe it's an algorithm, maybe it's marketing data, or maybe it's something worse. Let's take it a step further. You ever hear about those weird low-frequency signals that bounce around at night? Strange numbers being broadcast from abandoned stations? You ever pick up a radio frequency that sounds like it was meant for someone else? They say the government shut down mind control experiments in the 70s, but the same people who say that also said we'd never have phones that can recognize our faces. What if I told you they never really stopped? What if I told you half of us are already wired into a system we don't even know exists? Tonight, we're talking tech conspiracies, hidden cameras, signal jamming, unexplained government patents, and yes, the little coincidences that aren't coincidences at all. Call in. Tell me what you've seen. Tell me what you've heard. And if you hear knocking at your door halfway through the call,